We were Fred Wren. Mysteries were all we did. Rye was eating too much. Raggy was eating too much. We were reeling ourselves. Ronsters weren't afraid anymore. Raffney left Red for Raggy because Red was trapping too much. Relma Rust wanted to be seen as a woman. Rio came back for one final mystery.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White. Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the movie theater news you didn't know about. If you didn't know, movie theaters are closed, and so I'm at this drive-in theater waiting for Scoob to start. Speaking of Scoob, a new version of the Scooby-Doo movie is out, and it's a movie I've been looking forward to since the day it was announced. For whatever reason, parent company Warner just loves revisiting the world of the Mystery Incorporated gang, whether it's on the big screen or on the silver screen. For the past decade, we even saw direct-to-DVD movies, with the last two being direct sequels to a failed spin-off TV show and the very first animated film. 44 movies and specials, 5 live-action movies, 13 video games. Scooby's never been so versatile. Now, the Great Dane is hitting the big screen, well, home screen, I guess, again with Scoob, an origin story, crossover hybrid with other Hanna-Barbera properties. Originally, when I planned this episode out months ago, because you know how much I love planning, this episode was going to be about the world of Scoobert Doobert Doo. But the coronavirus changed that by causing a massive shutdown of the world, and within that world, the movie theaters. We know how TV shows and movies, Broadway, video game companies, improv organizations, cable networks, festivals, musicians, late night, and even Quibi are handling coming back to work during the coronavirus. What we haven't taken a look at is movie theaters themselves. Right now, movies are either shuffling release dates to further off dates where everything may be okay or may not be. We don't know. Or movies are being released directly at home. At-home releases are a topic movie institutions like the Cannes Film Festival and Netflix have been fighting against for respectively, for the past few years. Whether we like it or not, we're now going to see the results of movies being available for $20 at home the day of release. Scoob is one such movie. It was preceded by The Hunt, Invisible Man, and the real testament of child-based entertainment during the stay-at-home orders, Trolls World Tour. The sequel to the not-so-much-loved Trolls did spectacularly, with caveats, of course. World Tour made $100 million in its first 3 weeks, doing what the original could barely do in its entire theatrical run. But it had a captive audience, literally a captive audience. Then Universal, the distributor of several movies that were released directly on digital, suggested their movies may be released that way from now on. Then AMC, the theaters, not the channel, said it wasn't going to be showing Universal movies any longer. Then Universal said, no, we meant digital could be a supplement to theatrical. Then AMC, again the theaters, not the Viacom, CBS-owned network, was like, bump that noise, you're out of here, buddy. That was a whole kerfuffle. I won't go into covering it right now, mostly because it take too long. AMC, theater not network, please keep up, is in a peculiar spot. As much as Netflix and other streamers want to see them gone, theaters are still a big part of the movie viewing landscape. Tickets and concessions may cost an arm and a leg and cause buttery fingers to get all over your date's knee because you got scared when you're unsure if Paddington was going to make the train or not in Paddington 2 after he escapes the jail. It's terrifying. But movie theaters are very much needed. Nothing competes with the movie-going experience. Watching The Irishman at home isn't the same as watching it in theaters where there's a fat guy who already ate through his large tub of popcorn and Frank hadn't even met Hoffa yet. Local theaters are worse off. I really like that joke. Local theaters are worse off than the big names. For one, many of them are still trying to get a piece of that $350 million small business stimulus that was given out a couple of months ago. Just like other locally owned companies, the loans, also known as the Paycheck Payment Program, is an unsure way of keeping most of their staff employed, even if there is no cash flow. But as with other businesses that rely on foot traffic, that's not a lasting solution, especially so since only 10% of the companies that applied got the money. Half of the jobs lost come from hospitality industries, which include theaters, so the PPP isn't exactly helping in that regard. A majority of theaters aren't open and don't plan on doing so for the time being, even as some states allow them to. Now that the companies are opening back up, keep in mind this is an ill-advised measure by the smartest people in the world. How should movie theaters approach the topic? They can't stay closed forever. Restaurants are opening with delivery and curbside pickup. Grocery stores and gyms are easing into looser hours. Who's to say movie theaters couldn't do the same? Apparently, half of America is willing to take the risk of seeing a movie in public, according to a poll from The Hollywood Reporter and The Morning Consult. Of course, they'll only return if cleaning standards are met and crowd sizes are small, but we're getting there. Movie theaters, just like everyone else, are suffering, and we have a chance to save them. And while it's lovely to see the newest movies at home on the cheap, wouldn't it be nice to watch them the way they were intended to be viewed? That is, with popcorn in your lap, sticky floors under your feet, and people whispering and texting around you. Oh man, do I love it. You know what else I love? You subscribing and check out one of our videos. Of course, you can always head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where there are so many great interviews with your favorite comedians that you will be lucky to read it. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionalist podcast, literally wherever you get your podcast. And, looks like the movie is starting. No, wait, those are just two dogs humping each other. Okay, I'll watch.